Hello everyone, how are you getting on? I have the Bobman here. As you can see, gets pretty dirty all from the brushing the shit off. Gets splattered all over the Bobman, so I'm going to give it a bit of a wash up. It's been a couple of weeks since the Bobman arrived, as you've seen earlier in the video. So I'm going to give a run through on my thoughts on the Bobman, of the new Bobman. It is the same make and model as our previous one. It's just a newer version. We decided to upgrade. I'll go through why we decided to kind of upgrade as I'm going through the different elements of it. So this is the Bobman Promax, and as you see, it's just mounted with a scraper, just the width of the machine. It has the brush for cleaning the cubicle bed and the lime box on the side for throwing out your lime. You can get obviously bigger models with big boxes for sawdust and all that, but we just throw out lime, so this is the smallest in the range, and does us well. So I suppose the machine itself, the body of the machine, is the exact same as the old one. With regards the way you're sitting at it, there's foot pegs on each side here to rest your feet, and your forward and reverse then is just this bar sticking out here. You just push down to go forward, and you just lift it up to go back. There's no gears or anything. Then you have your RPM here, where on this handle here, this controls your RPM, the revs and of the machine. So you to adjust your how much power you're putting out, to depend on how much you want how fast your brush is going, or how much you want to throw in the lime, the blower, or how fast you want to drive on that. Generally, I'll rev that up as much as I want to suit the blower, really, the brush, and then I can control my speed by how much I push this. It's quite, when you get used to it, quite easy to control your speed by how much you push down. The key difference here, the exhaust is stainless steel compared to the old one, which was painted. Stainless steel obviously better. Biggest difference, I suppose, the body of the machine, as I said, is the same, but biggest difference compared to the old one is the bigger tyres. The front tyres are much bigger. You will notice at the start, a higher up machine, the front tyres are bigger and the back tyre is bigger again. This is a huge benefit, especially on our farm. We have a lot of steps on the farm around the place. Like when we're in the cubicles, there's the crossovers are raised up, so the dirt won't flow in there from the scraper. So we'd be driving up into them to scrape them out with the little mounted scraper in the front to keep them clean. So just getting up into those steps, then as well down some of the old yard, going into the old yard or going into certain passageways there, you're kind of driving up over steps. And they were harder on the old machine because of the small tyres. They were a big drop down, shaking a lot. Their tyres, much easier. All our steps I can just drive straight over them, and I've no trouble getting up over them. Because the wheels are bigger then, the scraper is up higher off the ground compared to the old machine. It's not up fully height there now, it can come higher, but that's about the height I lifted to. And it's just higher off the ground, so you have a higher ground clearance, which is a bit better. But I suppose on the downside of that, it doesn't go down as far. Now it still goes all the way down to the ground. Probably this is on level, it'll go slightly lower than level. It'll lift the wheels just a tiny bit. And the old one, it would lift it a good bit, which was good. If the ground was a big change in the ground, it would kind of, when you have it in float, it'll move better with the ground. But having said that, I have had no issue with it, the scraper not dropping down low enough. It has worked very well. Having the extra lift height is good for the ground clearance. Middle, there's the control handle for the brush. If you turn to the left, it'll rotate the brush clockwise, and if you turn to the right, it'll rotate it anti-clockwise. And that's very useful. That was the same as the old model. So this handle is handy to be able to control the brush coming in and off the bed. You don't need to be pushing and shoving it really with this handle. This is just an aid to give it a nudge. Brush. The brush is there's a lock here, so when it's locked in, it won't swing out of the way. And then you can lift up the lock to allow it to swing out over the bed, and you can there's a little O-ring here on it that you can tie up that. You just slip it on over it, and that'll allow it to swing in and out the whole time without you having to touch it, and you can use the control for it to do that. One thing, this new brush, it's a bit bigger, a bit more space between the bristles, which it seems to be good. And one thing I really like about this is the brush is more adjustable, so you can use this handle here to adjust the height of the brush up and down depending on the cubicle height. And as well, you can lift up the brush, mount it right back up like this, so that it can tuck in. I have it lifted up there. I have some twine just put up here that I've tied onto it, that I can swing it down over to keep it tied up. But if I'm scraping a passageway or whatever, lifts the brush straight off the ground. Just use the scraper, and you don't have the brush dragging in the shit if shit's piling up in front of it, which is a nice feature. It makes it more compact as well, and then it just slips down like that. But this handle, just turn it quick, can turn easy up and down. The brush as well, it'd be more adjustable. Obviously I know better how to set up the brush. If you want to know more about Bobman's Moorway Ltd is the crowd we got ours off. You can check out, they do have a YouTube channel, and he does brilliant videos on demonstrations on how to adjust your brush and how to change oil and all that, and all the different models. So definitely check him out if you're interested in a machine like this. The blower then on the side here, this holds about enough lime for maybe 140 to 200 cubicles depending on how fast you're going really. But yeah, I did I filled it up. I did about 140 cubicles left, so there's a bit left in it. You can't really see, it's a bit dark. It's just below the grid there. Pulls the lime out nice and good, right out onto the bed. Other things on the sides then, the new sides pop off very easy. There's just a clip at the back. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. They just clip in, so you just push that back and they pop off real easy. Much better design than the old one. The old one you had to take off the seat to get the clip open, and you had to kind of slide it back. It was just a little bit stiffer. There's a new fill point for the hydraulic oil that's in the base of it, and the gauge for checking the level is a bit bigger, so that's nice. Apart from that, everything is much the same inside. The other side then you have the air filter and our oil for the thing. So we also have our hours clock up here right at the front. It lights up a bit, which makes it easier to read. And as well, one of the biggest differences on the new machine would have to be the design of the front chassis, as well as the bigger wheels. The design of the front chassis is much different. It's a lot more robust, in my opinion. The way it's welded and bolted on, and the frame is just a lot stronger. The old one had channel iron going across that the whole machine was resting on. It looked robust when you were looking at it, but when you realized it was just hollow underneath and stuff, it seemed over the time, over a few years of this, with jumping up and down off the steps with the small wheels and the old chassis, we had a few problems with it cracking and stuff, and we had to be welding it. But the new chassis looks much more robust, so let's hope that should last a lot better. And the big tires obviously going to be a huge help as well. On the new chassis, the frame here that's holding the brush and the line box, despite the whole machine being higher up because of the bigger wheels, the line box is actually the same height as the other one, so it's just a bit lower down on the frame, a much more sturdy frame. The box is nice and tight. We had problems in the past with the old one, it becoming loose, shaking around with there because there's a lot of weight in it, and it just wasn't built on very well. But the new one just seems a lot more robust, the way it's built, so much happier with that. So I think this machine should last a little bit longer than the other one. And then our control for a scraper is the handle here, and our control for a line box, turning on and off there. It's getting pretty dark, it's late in the evening now. I'm trying to get this done, so I hope you can see the Bobman okay. This is one of the smaller models, as I said. It does the job for us. They are expensive machines, there's no doubt about it really for what they do, but it probably halves the workload regards the time it takes to do the liming the cubicles and that. So we have enough cubicles we find to justify having one. You know, it's a lot of labour bucking out lime otherwise, so it justifies us. If you had a smaller place, I think they're probably just too expensive really. You're better off just to go with a bucket and throw out the lime by hand. But a good machine for us, we find, and it's getting a bit dark, so you mightn't be able to see it that well, but happy with the new model. A lot more robust, bigger wheels. Also, last thing, also we have the here we have a underneath the control for the brush. It's kind of dark, but we have the 3-wheel drive, 1-wheel drive switch. So normally I'll have it in 3-wheel drive. I do find I use that a lot more now. Switching to 1-wheel drive allows you to turn in a lot tighter circle, as allows the front wheels to go freely, and you can turn a much tighter circle. So when I'm in the crossovers, I would flick into 1-wheel drive, can turn on the spot. Literally it'll just pivot right in the spot. And then 3-wheel drive then to get the front wheels driving as well, which helps getting up over steps and that. That's about it. Sorry, it's kind of getting dark and it's kind of getting hard to see it, but that's my review on the Bobman. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.